Today, we're diving into a system that aims to completely flip the script on your relationship with the internet. We're talking about going from being just a digital tenant to becoming a digital asset partner. This is the world of the BFC ecosystem.
But let's ask a real question first. Have you ever actually stopped to think about it? All that content you create, every post you like, the communities you pour your energy into, that's real work. It creates real value. So who's really getting rich off of it?
And this slide? Well, this lays it all out, doesn't it? In the Web 2.0 world we all live in, the platform is basically your landlord. They own the property, and man, do they take a cut. We're talking 40, sometimes 50% of your revenue. BFC's whole idea is to turn that upside down. In their world, you are the landlord. You own your traffic, and it becomes a real, tangible asset that works for you.
So let's just call it what it is. The old model makes you a digital tenant farmer. You're out there every day cultivating the land, making it valuable, but you don't own a single piece of it. You're totally at the mercy of the platform's rules, and they can change them on a whim. Heck, they could shut you down tomorrow. All that value you built, it's on rented ground.
Okay, so if Web 2.0 is just rented land, how in the world do you actually claim your own digital property? Well, the answer comes down to two key tools that basically act as your digital property deed. So the first one, and this is the big one, is the TDA, which stands for Trusted Data Asset. And you should literally think of this as the deed to your property online. It's not just some number in a database, it's proof of your ownership. It represents your long-term value, and this is crucial, it's your right to earn dividends from all the economic activity you help create.
Now, the second piece of this puzzle is the BFC token. If the TDA is your property, think of the BFC token as the fuel that makes the whole economy run. It's basically a consumable token, kind of like a prepaid gas card. Merchants use it to buy ads and services, and that's what drives all the value right back to the people who hold the deeds, the TDA holders.
So we've got the deed, and we've got the fuel. What does this actually mean for the everyday people building the digital world? Well, BFC completely redefines 5 key roles, transforming them from just being participants into being true asset partners.
First up, let's talk about the creator. And this might be the most dramatic shift of them all. The entire goal is to take the creator from being just another worker on the platform's farm to being the landlord of their very own digital estate. And just look at this comparison. It's night and day. In Web 2.0, you're stuck on that content treadmill, just churning out stuff 24/7. With BFC, an AI digital twin can do a lot of the heavy lifting, working around the clock and potentially cutting your costs by 90%. But here's the real kicker, you're not just getting paid for your labor anymore. You are given 30% of the TDA, the actual asset that you're creating. You're not just working, you're building real equity.
Next up, the fan. You know, for decades, fans have just been passive consumers. Their likes, their views, their comments, that's what fuels the whole machine. But they've never gotten a financial return for it. BFC wants to completely reimagine them as co-owners.
So how does that even work? It's through this amazing concept called labor as mining. It means every little thing you do to support a creator, every view, like, comment, is recognized as valuable work. It's work that helps build the creator's asset. And for that work, fans actually get rewarded. The creator sets aside 30% of their TDA to be distributed to their community. This turns you from a passive follower into a truly vested partner in their success. Okay, now let's talk about the people who are often funding this whole ecosystem. The merchants. And frankly, they're tired of just throwing huge piles of money at advertising, crossing their fingers, and dealing with fake traffic and fuzzy results. For them, the value proposition is incredibly simple and honestly unbelievably powerful. A potential 80% reduction in customer acquisition costs. That's huge. By advertising directly to a TDA, they know they're buying access to a real, verifiable, engaged community, not just some metric on a dashboard. Every single dollar is spent way more efficiently.
So what about the multi-channel networks, the MCNs? You know, their traditional business model is super labor-intensive, and it's incredibly high risk. BFC offers them a way to evolve from being a creator's babysitter into a much more sophisticated asset manager.
Just look at this shift. What's the biggest risk for an MCN? A star creator gets big and then leaves. Poof, all that revenue is gone. In the BFC model, the MCN holds 10% of their creator's initial TDA. This means that even if that creator takes a year off or moves on, the MCN keeps earning permanent dividends from the asset they helped build in the first place. It totally flips their business model from just services to long-term asset management.
And finally, let's talk about the ad agent. Traditionally, their job is purely transactional.
You know, sell an ad slot, get your commission, move on to the next sale. It's a grind. BFC wants to transform that role from a one-time salesperson into a genuine long-term partner.
So their focus completely shifts. They're no longer just selling an empty ad slot. They're selling access to a verifiable data asset. And that changes everything because it creates a recurring revenue stream. Every single time a merchant they brought in buys more BFC tokens to advertise, that agent earns a commission. This creates a stable, long-term income that perfectly aligns their success with the success of the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so we've got all these new, transformed roles. But how do they all work together to actually create value? That is where this idea of the value creation flywheel comes in. It's the economic engine that powers the entire system.
And it's actually a beautifully simple loop. Step 1. Merchants buy BFC tokens so they can pay for ads. Step 2. And this is the magic part. A massive 70% of that ad spend automatically gets injected right into the TDA asset pool. Step 3. This new capital increases the underlying value of every single TDA in the system. And that leads to Step 4. The asset holders, the creators, the fans, the MCNs, they all get dividends and they see the value of their asset grow. The faster the wheel turns, the more everyone wins.
You know, this isn't just about shuffling roles around. This is about building an entirely new asset class from the ground up. And the vision for this is, well, it's massive and it has a very clear long-term target. The roadmap is nothing if not ambitious. Right now, today, the focus is on building that foundation with these new asset partners. The next step is to scale the whole ecosystem globally. But the ultimate goal, the bullseye they're aiming for, is 2028, to manage a $1 trillion class of these trusted data assets and target a listing on the NASDAQ.
I think this quote really captures the entire philosophy here. It's about a fundamental shift. You go from the Web 2.0 era, where you are basically a servant to the platform, to the BFC era, where you become the master of your own digital assets.
So, it all really comes down to this. The old model gave you a space to work. This new model is offering you a property to own. The only question left to ask is, are you ready to claim it? Thanks for tuning in.